Hey you guys, welcome back to Bag Only, the ultimate Ironman with no extra storage and all that stuff. At the end of the last episode, you might remember we did a couple of Barrows chests just real quick, just for some fun. Well, I actually pulled an elite clue from that, so what I'm going to do at the very start of this episode is attempt to do this elite clue. The first step is over on Atoll, so I just went and did that. But the next step is actually over on the Island of Stone, which is where you go to kill Basilisk Knights after the Fremzoned Exiles quest. Now, I haven't done that quest, but I have done all the prerequisites and all the skill requirements. So we can go try and begin the Fremzoned Exiles, maybe even fully complete it. I think you have to get most of the way towards the end, up to kind of the last boss fight. Then you can actually get onto the island and dig for this clue. So, Fremzoned Exiles, obviously you need to do all the other Fremzoned quests for this one, as it is the Fremzoned finale currently in Oldschool Runescape. So this quest is basically about recreating a shield of an old hero called V. It's basically an upgraded mirror shield that you normally get from the Slayer Master guy. So what we have to do is basically run around the whole of the Fremzoned area, talking to a whole bunch of people. We go reclaim our Ring of Charos so we can charm a warrior in the Waterbirth Cave to give us his Fremzoned shield to use as a base. Then we also need to use our Seal of Passage to go back to Baba Yaga, buy some Astral Runes, and then use these along with some Lunar Ore and some Molten Glass to make some Lunar Glass, some Lunar Bars, hammer this into a sigil in the shape of a V, then take this sigil over to the Fosgrimmon, who normally makes you those enchanted lyres to teleport around, so that she can enchant the sigil into a proper one that we can put onto our shield. Then we also buy a new pet rock and we dump it into a geyser over in the Mountain Daughter place, just so it gets cleaned and smoothed by the natural water jets. In the meantime, I actually went to move our house to Relica for this, just because I knew we'd need to travel to this area a whole bunch of times to complete this quest, and we only get one teleport on the sea boots too currently. I went back to the geyser after this with our fishing rod and the ice gloves in order to retrieve our polished rock, which we can use as one of the materials to create our legendary shield. And then with all the pieces together, I fully crafted the shield, spoke to the chieftain, and we headed off to supply up for some combat. After this point in the quest, the Fremzoned city actually gets attacked by basilisks. They swarm the market. Luckily, it's one of these places where NPCs actually help you, so all the Fremzoneds actually fight the basilisks. They also block each other because they're all really big and they only melee. So all you need to do is basically run around the market and just make sure you tag all the ones that are in combat, and eventually they'll be killed by the Fremzoneds and you'll get the kill credit. Then with these guys dead, I went off to resupply once again. We actually headed over to the Island of Stone, very near the end of the quest now, just to do our elite clue step. So I headed over there with some supplies. I killed the aviancy that spawned. Sadly didn't get the 1 in 1 million armadillo helmet that this guy can drop, but that's okay. Got an Anku step next for our elite clue, so went back to the catacombs, killed one of those, and then finally I just had to dig inside the Legends Guild for the final step of the clue. We were offered a mimic fight at the end here when we got the casket, but I actually turned it down. I didn't want to go fight a mimic at this point. Maybe I'll switch it on later when I'm a bit more confident, but I just wanted to crack the casket and see what we got. And we actually got a piece of the Dark Infinity Recolor kit, so that's cool. Probably not something we'll ever use, because I'm probably not going to actually go farm out Infinity at any point, but it is really nice to pull a unique that's actually on the collection log. Anyway, with the clue out the way, I went back to try and finish the Fremzoned Exiles quest, because we'd gone through all the trouble of making the shield and unlocking the final boss, so I figured it was worth a try even though we had a dragon mace. So with Chieftain Brunt's help, we headed over to the Island of Stone, did a little puzzle on the door, and we fought off the Lieutenant mini-boss of the Basilisks fairly easily with just potatoes and Warriors Guild potions. It's one of those quests where you get a checkpoint before the final boss, which is nice. So just ran and whipped up a super restore and a super defense with the herbs that we had planted, then just pre-potted up our attack and strength with regular potions at the Warriors Guild, and then filled all our inventory slots with the best food we could be bothered to get, which was just the potatoes. Then with some supplies, we just headed back to Relica, headed over to the boss fight, gave it a go. It was fairly close considering the equipment we actually had, the Dragon Mace and stuff. For this guy, you basically just pray mage and hit him. You just have to be careful to look away when the screen goes red and dodge his attack. And then also he has the kind of vines thing you have to spam click out of, just like Hespori. But yeah, I actually just managed to beat the guy with 26 health left and a single piece of food. Obviously this is one of those scenarios where we could have just failed had RNG not gone our way, because we only just scraped by. But it was really nice to get this random quest just out of the way. I hadn't expected to actually do it today, so really, really good. No amazing rewards for this one, but we do get 15k in Slayer and crafting and 5k in Runecraft as well, so decent in our XP rewards. And we can also go fight Basilisk Knights on task after the quest to try and get the upgraded Neat's Helm for that strength bonus. But I don't really know when we'd use that, except maybe way down the line when we're doing PVM, if we're fighting some kind of meleeable boss that you can't do on Slayer task. then it'll be better than our Slayer Helm. But it's certainly going to be a long time before we consider going for a Basilic's Jaw. So with Fremonic Exiles done, I decided to try and go and AFK some core asks, a little bit for money, but mainly to try and hit the 1 in 1k battle axe, because we didn't currently have a very good melee weapon. I wanted a better one, and obviously we can't go get our D skin back without all our monkey stuff, but ironically enough, we actually picked up a hard clue from the core asks. I went to go do it, and the first 3 steps were actually possible, and the 4th step we came across was actually to go and speak to King Awawogi. So that means that in order to carry on this clue, we would have to go remake all our monkey stuff, like we did during Monkey Madness 1 the first time, and if we were going to do all that anyway, then we may as well go and attempt Monkey Madness 2, right? If I can do the Kruk'ed dungeon, which is actually only chapter 2 of the quest, then I think I can do the whole thing. I think that's the hardest thing, to be honest. It has been a while since I did this, and I do remember the last time I did this quest, I was pleasantly surprised with how easy it was thanks to Quest Helper. I think that was in the period where Quest Helper was a little bit broken, and it, was breaking the rules a little bit of the game. It was, accessing memory to, find out, things the player shouldn't be able to know, like the correct paths for things. So maybe the Agility Dungeon is worse now. I don't know. I'm gonna try it, because that's one of the big kind of 3 things that I'm scared of on this account, that I've not been wanting to do from the very start. It's Monkey Madness 2, mainly the Kruk'ed dungeon, it's the Seren boss fight, and it's actually Morning's End 2. And then for Gloth, I've already made a plan, like I said before, holding off on doing Roving Elves till we get to the end of Monkey Madness 2. Then we're going to grab the Crystal Bow so we can flinch in with it, because it's a 10-tile ranged weapon. So actually kind of excited. I just really want to get through this Kruk'ed dungeon bit first, which will include almost the entirety of Monkey Madness 1 again, because we will need to make the Monkey Speak amulet from scratch, and also make the, a basic Gree from scratch, so we're able to get onto Apatol, and then we'll have to go make a second Gree for the quest using the actual Kruk pieces, so it's going to be a bit of a pain, but we kind of know what we're doing at least. Wow, that's the quickest we've ever got out on this account, that's crazy. At least if we fully complete Monkey Madness 2, we get the ability to repurchase our Grees back from an NPC in the Grand Tree, instead of having to come steal them from this monkey child and remaking them. And we also get friendship with the monkeys, so we don't get shot if we come here in human form. And we also get the magical ability to speak to the monkeys without the need of the Monkey Speak amulet. So basically, we never need any of this garbage again, as long as we come here after Monkey Madness 2, which would be really good. So this is the building with the aggressive spider inside from when we did this quest the first time. Hopefully it's still openable. So one of these crates, I think this one, contains the monkey dentures, maybe? Yes, take some of those. Oh god, the monkey police! But that's pretty much all we need. We just need the teeth and a mold, so now we can actually dip. Right gamers, we're back. I just had a look, and the Arceus teleport spell to this monkey dungeon is actually still available. It just requires 90 mage. I think I'll put the normal Apatol telly in the house, the one that takes you over to the monkey temple and it needs bananas or something. It's been a long time since I've done this quest. I hate this quest. It's one of my least favourite quests in the game. Hopefully we can get it done today, because the rewards are just so good, especially for our account, like I say. Completely eliminates the need to use a Monkey Speak amulet ever. The monkeys aren't aggressive on Apatol, and also we get a glider over to Apatol. If we ever get our 100k back for a D-skim, for example, we can just go to Alcarid glider, fly straight over there, and talk to the monkey shopkeeper without any stupid extra items. So it's going to be really, really good. We get some XP for this, demonic gorillas that we can go fight. So here we are at the end. Cool. So now let's leave once again. I'll grab the stuff together to cast a Marim telly, and it actually teleports you inside the very temple that we need to get to here. It just needs some bananas. Right, we've got anti-poisons, we've got bananas, we've got runes, let's go. So, oh, that's a hard task in the western. I was meaning to do that at some stage, so there we go. And now we have a Monkey Speak amulet, so we can get out of here. We'll run through this dungeon, make our cool ninja talisman, which is really the only one that's any good. There we go, that's it. We have all our things back. Hey boys, nothing to see here, just a friendly monkey going about his monkey business. So with our Monkey Speak and our Monkey Disguise, I went to speak to the king for both the quest and the clue scroll. Progressed the clue scroll, got another step to go talk to Otto at the Bob fishing place. And also then for Monkey Madness 2, we got sent to go into the Kruk'ed dungeon finally. So I left to go do the clue scroll first, because we would want to resupply in order to take on the dungeon. It's nice that we've done the RFD for that Apatol telly as well. It does help, but if you don't include the laws, we need 3 invent spaces for fires, waters, and bananas. It actually might make a lot of sense to pop a Marim portal in our house now, because I feel like we'll be taking it a couple of times during this quest. So what I may do is try and find somewhere where we can get 100 bananas. But let's finish this hard clue first. That's got to be the last step, right? There we go. A master clue? I mean, that's not going to be completable. And then just alcohols. So the master clue step wasn't actually completable. We need 87 crafting to do this craft a light orb step, so that was cool. We're able to just drop this and continue questing. So what I wanted to do next was make the Mariam portal in our house, like I say. So we had to go find a place where we could get 100 bananas at once. Obviously they'd have to be noted. I actually had a look around and found out that they actually are for sale from charter ships. So what I decided to do was just RD cloak to the monastery, run down to the Port Khazard charter guy, then RD cloak back with an inventory full of bananas and just use them on the bush patch leprechaun, which would turn them into banknotes, and then just run back down to the charters again, hop worlds and repeat. Just did this until we had 100 bananas, then I went and bought the runes, popped the portal in our house, and then we could just keep going through this every time we had to go back to Mariam for different stages of this quest, because it would be quite a long one and we'd have to go back there quite a few times. With our Grigri and Monkey Speak amulet in hand, the very first thing I did was go back to Apatol and rebuy our D-Skim, because we would need a melee weapon for this quest. And then I also went and put in a little bit of time to make some really good food. I made a full invent of pineapple pizzas, unnoted some nice prayer pots, and we headed back to Apatol to try and do Monkey Madness too. We're back on Apatol with our Monkey Speak amulet and our Grigri both equipped. Quick stats check for the account if you've somehow forgotten, or if you want a little update there. Now we speak to this monkey, we ask him where Kruk'ed is, because we need to find the location of Kruk'ed. He's kind of the second in command of the monkeys, and he's the only one that the king will discuss his military plans with. Because of this, we need to go find him, kill him, and turn him into a talisman so we can take on his appearance, pretend to be him, and then learn what the king's up to. So that's basically the idea of this quest. Because we're fairly sure that the monkeys in league with Gloth are planning to start a war with the humans, and we want to stop that. So now, the dungeon down to Kruk'ed's dungeon should actually be open. So there are some lines at the very least. I have, like I say, done this quest. How many times have I done this? Twice, maybe? So good to see here that we fall at the very first hurdle, which only bodes well for the whole dungeon. So let's see how this goes. What's good, it seems like Quest Helper doesn't tell you the correct way to go anymore, but it does update when you go the wrong way. So that's good at least. It makes it a little bit more brainless. Just need to be very, very careful that you flick your prayers on in time if you do in fact fall down one of these gaps, because you get ganged by tons of monkeys in multi, and even though they're quite small, they are deceptively strong. I think they can all hit like 10s or 20s or whatever. You also need to pay attention to what the protection prayer is for this section, because it's kind of like the Waterbirth dungeon. You flick protect melee on or something, then you can get killed if you fall into a hole with ranged enemies, for example. But I'm just praying to the RuneScape gods that they're going to let us get through this relatively easily. Because like I say, at the very, very end of the dungeon, just before the Kruk'ed boss fight, there is actually a like Dark Souls style shortcut door that you can open from one side. If we don't do particularly well when fighting the boss himself, we can just come back, instead just go north instead of south, and just go through a little hole in the wall that we open, and then we can try the boss again. So just once we've done this actual dungeon bit itself, I'll be kinda happy. The rest of the quest isn't that hard compared to this part. It's an interesting little area, this. Once you've actually completed the quest, you can come back here and intentionally fall down into those pits, and then you can use that to train your mage and range with like chins or barrage spells, because there are just so many enemies tightly packed, and they all attack with one style. They actually drop 1-dose prayer pots as well, so if you bring good enough prayer gear, you can maintain your prayer. So now this is the protect from missile segment, so if we do fall down in here, we need to protect range instead. And there's obviously a 50-50 chance we'll fall anytime the path splits like this. So let's just hope for the best. So it doesn't really tell us which way to go here, so I guess we just have to guess. Gonna have a go at the wall support and hope for the best. Nope. So we protect range real quick and we run all the way back round. I mean, these guys are kind of cool if you look at them. They're like zombie monkey ninjas with like plankton mind control helmets on. It also looks like they're wearing insulated boots, but I'm sure they're more just like ninja tabby shoes or whatever. So we're back here and it's telling us to go this way even though we just tried and failed. I don't know if it knows something we don't. Maybe... Yeah, it says something about this route feels wrong in chat, which means it's the wrong route for the account. I should have looked at chat, to be fair, instead of blindly following the line. But you know, I trusted Quest Helper, and like about 3 other times before, it is wrong sometimes. So you just have to be careful. Right, so we ignore this time, because it's definitely not the correct way. Is this another 50-50? Problem is, the deeper and deeper we get into each segment, then the further the run is back if we do in fact fall down. Okay, so that's the wrong way as well. Right, okay. That's fine. I mean, it is annoying that it is just trial and error. It's just a bunch of 50-50 chances. But I guess, you know, you only have to do these things once, unless you want to go speedrun quests on that stupid world. Actually, the speedrun worlds are probably popping off because they added new quests like yesterday or something. You know, there's upwards of 20 people speedrunning the quests, so, I mean, that put me in my place. So here's another fun bit. Which way is it going to be? That's the end. And if we do fall in, then it's back in the monkey pit and we have to go all the way back and do all this again. Nope, that's the wrong way. Okay. I mean, interestingly, there is actually another route you can go through this cave. There's like a tanking route where instead of these kind of 50-50 agility obstacles, there's instead just a lot of damage that gets thrown at you. So if you're like a max combat main and you have access to really good gear, you know, maybe you can just buy like Justicia and a Bulwark and Brews and Restores and Staminas, then it might be easier to go the other way. I've only seen it on that one Rendy Lower the Better video where he did this quest at a low level. Anyway, back to the start to this segment again. Hopefully we can't randomly fall in, as long as we select the correct direction. So what's awful about this bit of the Kruk'ed dungeon is the very end is so tantalisingly close, but it kept sending us the absolute wrong way. I think for this particular portion here, quite near the end, I got sent the longest possible way. Instead of just over the vine and to the end, we had to go left, and then we had to actually go down, and then we had to go right and down again, and then left all the way, and then all the way up. Dude, I nearly died. I was slow on the prayer though. So instead of the obvious way, it looks like we have to go the absolute longest way possible. So I don't know if we could have possibly had more obstacles to cross than we actually got given, but it wasn't too bad. We did manage to get to the end anyway. It does seem like, though, if you don't take the wrong route, I've not failed randomly yet. If that continues, then I think we'll be able to do this in one trip. I don't want to jinx it, but Quest Helper line still hasn't updated and realised it's wrong. Okay. So that should be a checkpoint. So now we're back to protecting melee if we fall. This other way is the tanking path that I was talking about where you take damage. Both the paths converge here, and then you go west and we head towards the final boss. And again, the path does also split here as well. But it's not too bad because we're at the start of a new segment, so we're really close to the rope. So if we do fail here, it's not the end of the world. This is the Dark Souls shortcut. It's a little missable wall. So in theory now, this is where you enter. We can just go straight through here and get to the Kruk boss fight. I'm so happy to have this done. So I'm just going to go in blind. I think this guy has a melee and a ranged attack, so we're going to start by praying ranged, and then we're going to try and pull this guy into a corner somehow. Like that. Guess we'll flick on Piety. Step out, hit him, step back in, turn it off, wait for his health bar to disappear. Now I'm hoping if we kill this guy it means we can get rid of our other Gree-Gree, because we do need to turn him into a Gree-Gree the same way as before. Either way, it's really nice to have our D-skin back, even though it's just not working at all here. I was going to like chill, kill Korasks, maybe go do that fight cave major that I've been talking about for like 3 days. But instead we're killing Kruk, which I did not expect this afternoon. So once he's dead we should be able to take his paw. And then we need to go buy a monkey talisman again from the magic store. Oh, I didn't have my glory on the whole time. I bet you guys were shouting at the screen. So now we can actually buy these back because we are a monkey. And we can head back to our boy. So I quickly ran back through that initial monkey tunnel, spoke to Zunok again, and had him make the Kruk Gree-Gree for us so we could go speak with the king. And then once he tells us, we'll be able to talk to the gnome spy who's hanging out outside still. They still haven't found him since Monkey Madness 1. He's literally just been round the corner. But as you can see now, next up is entering Troll Stronghold. Because it turns out that the monkeys are involving the help of both the trolls and the ogres to try and join their evil army to take on the humans, so we need to go talk to the trolls. So we talk to Cobb. Let's just find it. Oh my good god. 55 straight out of the cutscene, like on the first tick when I stopped talking to him. This guy's harder than Glorf. Anyway, with Cobb defeated, he calls off the army that are going to help the monkeys. So next thing, we actually need to go to Gutanoth, give the ogres a talking to as well. Now, if you've completed Watchtower Quest, which you have to do Monkey Madness too, there's actually this agility shortcut here if you have the level for it. You can use it to get to a Saradomin Wizard clue scroll, and it's only 71 agility, so we can do it. But we can also use it to get straight up here and talk to this guy. But I'm going to go into this conversation praying melee, because I learnt my lesson from last time. There we go. Now, if he doesn't despawn, we've got him. At least we're utilising our Carol's Coif. So anyway, it's back to Apatol now. So we need to climb onto some rooftops, apparently, and find Assistant LeSmith, who's hiding somewhere. I guess if he's nowhere around here, we'll head over here, where there's another rooftop. Oh, it's the monkey's uncle. No way, he really exists. Wait, so he could see us the whole time, looking down here, scamming his nephew for those talismans, and he didn't do anything. That's hilarious. So the next portion, if you've done Monkey Madness 2, you'll probably remember this. It's the portion where you go over to like a weird shipyard and you have to do a stealth section, sneaking around multiple floors to infiltrate like a monkey ship and blow it up with like some satchel charges or whatever. But first we need to find Assistant LeSmith somewhere. So maybe he's up on like a second floor perhaps, instead of just like this one. Oh, he can be on top of the bridge that connects the watchtowers to the main gate apparently. Dude, where is this guy? I've been everywhere. I mean, obviously haven't, but, you know, like, I genuinely don't remember having to find this guy before. He must have just been in, like, the first possible spawn. Apparently one alternative is to search this crate and intentionally go down into the Monkey Dentures basement again, and then go through to this building underground and climb up. I wonder if it's unique to each player, or if it's unique to the world you're on as well. Never been further than this before, because you only need to come here and search this one crate, usually. I like his little goofy swords, especially when you sprint and he like holds them outwards. They look silly. I like it. Dude, if he's up this ladder here, this is the most convoluted hiding place. Oh my god. I'm gonna pick up the information from Assistant LeSmith. This is the guy that I think initially was the balloon guy for the Grand Tree and he smuggled Gloff out. So I believe that's all we need to currently do on Apatol, so now we need to head over here to a rowboat quite near the entrance, and we'll try and infiltrate a monkey ship and blow it up with some satchel charges. Right guys, I'm on the fishing platform, or whatever it's called, the ship construction platform. So I'm going to have monkey guards tagged, I'm going to have lines all over the place, and flashing boxes, and all sorts of rubbish. So apologies in advance for that, but I need all the help I can get for this portion of the quest. But hopefully this is relatively painless, and we're not here too long. So I'm just going to dash around, kind of wait every now and again for monkeys to patrol past so we can get to the next little checkpoint, and then also wait for our run to recharge. If you're doing this yourself, bring Graceful, because I don't think there's any combat during this portion. I think it's just walking around, so you want that run recharge if possible. In theory, I probably would have done this after getting 80 agility at Sepulchre, had I not got that hard clue just to speak to Awawogi, so, you know, plans change, but it would be nice to have some kind of run energy recharge. I also imagine this area is instance, so if I hop worlds, it might send me back to the start. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not going to hop worlds and try and, like, cheese the patrol paths. I'm just going to play it properly. Plus, waiting for them to do their cycles gives me some chance to get some run back anyway, so... Dude, what the hell? I just got caught while chilling in a safe spot. It was a safe spot that only works if the monkey's going in one direction, and if he goes the other direction, then he sees you in there. Guess I've got to actually double check all these safe spots now. Right, so we're at the end of the first floor, in theory. This cannot be the intended way to do this, dude. Jeez Louise. Okay, so here's the ship, or at least one of the ships being built. These are the monkey warships that they're going to use to go to war with the humans, in theory with the help of the ogres and the trolls, but we've sorted that aspect out. Now we just need to cripple their fleet, which is why we're here in the first place. If you get caught here after picking these charges up, you do have to come all the way back the same route and pick up another 6. No! We're back to the start, but we do still have our bombs. We still need to do the entire first floor again, but once we're kind of 3/4 of the way, we don't have to progress and pick up the bombs anymore. We just go up a different ladder. So we've not lost everything by getting caught. My fault, I was being greedy. I didn't wait an extra cycle, you know. That's how it goes. Learned my lesson. But anyway, here we are at the gunpowder barrel, so we can actually fill these satchels now because they weren't in fact satchel charges before. They were just empty satchels. So we'll fill all 6 with this barrel full of gunpowder, then they become explosives that we can use to blow up the boat. So we've put one satchel up here on these compromised floorboards, but now we need to navigate this maze all the way around all the floors to all the different corners and find 5 other spots around that we can plant some explosives. I guess they're like structural weak points. I think once this segment's done, I believe it's the Grand Tree segment where we have to fight a bunch of tortured and demonic gorillas. So there's structural weak point number 2, just need to dash around and find 4 more of those. That's 3 of our satchel charges. Now I do believe that any satchel charges that you do place remain if you do get caught, so I don't think we'll have to come all the way back up here if we somehow fail. And this is probably the furthest one away from the start, so I guess it's almost some kind of checkpoint to have done this one already. So 2 more satchels to place, we're getting there, we've done 4 of 6. This quest is rather long. I think yesterday doing the Kruk'ed segment took about 2 hours or something maybe, but our current login timer is 55 minutes to do the running around on Apatol talking to people segment and this segment here. So yeah, it is a long quest and there's still another long segment left, including the final boss fight. And now we need to actually go back to the bottom floor. So if they didn't take your explosives off you, we could just get caught on purpose to get to this last one really quickly. But sadly I don't think that's how it works and we're not going to risk it. Ooh, here we are. The very last weak point. Don't teleport away. You can shortcut by getting caught. Quest helper, if you're wrong again, dude, like, I'm gonna freak. And that should trigger all the explosives. That's that segment of the quest done. So now what we need to do is go back down into the Kruk'ed dungeon that we initially went into to fight Kruk, but this time we instead go north, because there's actually a different section in that tunnel, an underground secret demon lab that Gloff and the monkeys have been working on, these horrible twisted gorilla creations called demonic gorillas. What we can do here is jump onto one of these gorilla creations. So this actually might also be the last part where we need to go to Apatol at all. As you can see, Gloff's actually here the whole time. He's probably somewhat confused as to why Kruk is fighting off his own experiments, but also he may have picked up on the fact that we're not really Kruk by this point. Right, so Gloff's run off. Now if we go to the top, we can mess with his device. Turns out there's like a weird onyx in here. It's obviously not a real onyx that we can keep and turn into a fury. It'd be nice if it was. But we deconstruct the onyx and then we put it back in, which messes up his machine. So we mess with the gem, we inspect the incubation chambers, we see that we've messed up his plans a little bit, so now we're able to return to Garkor and tell him what happened, and obviously, as always, the easiest way is to go home and use this portal. Really, really glad I made this portal first, and it's not even that hard to get the noted bananas as a UIM, it's just like 10 minutes of running or something. Now we talk to Awogi, and then we should have to talk to Garkor again, and then that should actually be the last Apatol part of this quest. So we speak to the king and we tell him that the monkey invasion is about to happen. So what we need to do is go enlist the help of the Slayer Master just to help us with the combat. I'm going to see if we can fight Glock without all the messing about, without the crystal bow and without the Slayer task. If it seems that we can't and we're just too limited by our inventory space, gear, supplies, DPS, all that kind of stuff, then I will go out of our way to do those things and make it easier. So we pick up Neve, and what we need to do is walk around the Grand Tree until we find 5 of the tortured gorillas. And these ones only have a single combat style because they're only the weaker tortured gorillas, whereas the demonic gorillas that you fight later in the quest and after the quest for your Zenites, they swap combat styles and they also prey against you, which is kind of annoying. So basically the monkeys and the evil gnomes combined send an airship full of evil demonic gorillas over to the Grand Tree to attack, but I guess probably because of our satchel charges and messing about, the ship actually crashes into this cave. So what we have to do is basically progress through this cave, fighting a bunch of people. We'll encounter Gloff and his minions multiple times, and we'll need to fight them all off. Like I say, I'm not confident in being able to do this, but I've said that pretty much about every master quest that we've come up against and we've kind of managed so far. I'm suspecting we'll have to go get a crystal bow and a Slayer task. And I don't know if Neve actually does any damage here to help out, I think so, but I think when Gloff spawns and turns into a big demon, that's a checkpoint. But I think you have to kill all 4 of these gorillas in a single trip for it actually to be a checkpoint. So they swap styles, and then also sometimes rocks fall on you, I guess. I'm kind of learning this as I'm going. I've not really fought demonic gorillas before, I'll be honest with you. These guys actually have a ton of health. They have 380, which is more than most bosses. Like, King Black Dragon has like 255. So I think we can kill this one, but there's no way we can kill the other one, I don't think. I don't think like 12 potatoes is enough for a whole phase of a boss fight. We get a combat task though for killing one, so I mean that's something I guess. See, it used to be that Neve would actually just attack them, but she's not. So I don't know. Okay, well I'm not dying for this, so let's go restock. If they've all respawned, then we'll have to take a look at what we have in our inventory and see what we can get rid of. I don't think that we need the monkey items anymore. I'll have to definitely do like a good deep dive and triple check But if we don't need the monkey items anymore, then that'll be 2 spaces free for some more supplies, which will definitely help. But I guess worst case scenario, we could also probably go get a black demon task to do this segment. And then we'll head back and yeah, should be a fun time. Right guys, we've pre-potted at the shop, we've got cram buns this time, and I have actually ditched both the monkey items. You don't need a monkey speak amulet and a gree for the last bit of the quest. I still haven't picked up a slayer task, but I'm hoping that Neve not attacking them properly was just a glitch, and this time it's actually going to work properly. So let's see what happened. I think we'll have to fight all 4 gorillas again. Yeah, we do. Okay, I thought so. Kind of don't want this other gorilla to die because I feel like if he dies then we get to fight 2 demonics at once. I'd really rather Neve help me with this one and leave this one alive because the tortureds aren't as bad, they don't do as much damage. Well, there we go, now we're fighting 2 of them. Not going to panic though, I'm going to try the little safe spot thing, see if it still does work. We'll try 1v1 this guy and hopefully Neve continues to attack this other one. And then we should be good, right? I'm just already low on supplies. See, this guy's like flinching me now. I mean, the big problem with this is when they change styles, you always take a hit because you don't know what you're going to have to pray next, I think. I don't think there's any way to know. Just like I say, he could swap styles at any point, and the first hit, if it doesn't splash, then we're going to take damage. Okay, now he's ranging. He's going to swap styles and we're going to die. Okay, he splashed his first melee, that's promising. There it is, maged. Oh, where's my stuff going to be? I guess we can take the glider. We've got free access to the gate, so we can just run over, glider to the Grand Tree, grab Neve back and go get our stuff back. That was close though. That was close. To say we had, you know, 10 inventory spaces that weren't food or potions. I think we did okay. Please just be here. Oh, I see coins. Hey, thank you Jagex, you did something right. Oh, that's really good. I was really scared then. How many points do I have? I have 455 points. Right, okay. I did have a look, and Neve is actually the best for these. Black Demons have a weighting of 9. Only Tazara higher with a weighting of 10. We can cancel our Spectre's task, and we can try get a Black Demons task. I'll quickly unblock them just for this. Black Demons were cancelled before because they have so much defense, they're a really rubbish monster to do. So let's see if 15 cancels can get us Black Demons. Dagonoths, no. More than happy to do some Terrail skips to get our points back in future. Spectres again, thank you very much. Lizard Men I actually need to do, but no, I want Black Demons please. Worms, no. Lizard Men again. I mean, Fire Giants have the same chance, and we've had them twice. Black Demons, oh, let's go. Right, cool, awesome. I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to get rid of my Carol's Coif as well. Get that 1 extra space of food. I think it's worth it. The Carol's Coif is kind of garbage. It only gives us 4 ranged attack, and it has like no defenses in anything. It's just a trash piece. Right guys, attempt number 3. We've got even more food this time. And we're on a task. This should be the one. Kind of want to try the safe spot thing again. I'm not certain yet if they patched it or not. Maybe it's just been glitchy. So maybe we'll just chill in the room until we're certain that Neve's actually meleeing one of them. And then we'll run outside and try and hide. I've pre-potted up, and we've got our Karambwans, so let's just hope for the best here. Okay, she's here. So if I leave, like here, right? But she still attacks. Haha! I mean, this is how I did this on my main the first time. It's good to see it still works somewhat. The issue is, do they swap prayers when the demonic gorillas come down, and she hits them with melee? I don't know. Nearly done with the first of 4 gorillas. That's one of the easy ones down. I think that means one of the others spawns. I was really glad to see that you can actually still do the cheese method with these tortured gorillas. You just have to go into the room first when the demonics drop down and they're praying melee, and attack them with either range or mage, so they swap their prayer against you. Then you can run away, and Neve can just hit them with melee until they die. We're gaming. I've no shame in doing cheeses like this, guys. It's completely intended by the devs, otherwise they'd have patched it. That one's dead. The problem is it'll spawn another, but I think it'll get blocked by this one. I was actually just looking at the Slayer music guide for this part, and apparently it took his Neve 9 minutes to kill one of these, so I might be here a while. But I mean, you know, we spent longer killing a black dragon once, so I'm chill with that, that's fine. Right guys, gorillas are dead. I actually just went AFK. I guess Neve finally finished them off, and he actually threw me straight into this cutscene, so I'm glad he didn't throw us straight into combat and kill us. RIP. Neve is now canonically dead. Forgive me, but I've made a yew longbow. I've bought some addy arrows. I also replaced our cape with the Avers. I've also got the rune crossbow switch. So what we want to do is tag this guy and just run away. Yeah, as long as we're like 10 tiles away. So we should be able to do his first 2 phases by just cheesing it. But his 3rd phase, we do actually have to fight him. Now obviously this isn't the best bow in the world, a tier 40 yew longbow, but it's the best thing that we can make. Obviously a magic longbow would be better, like you guys mentioned in the comments like a few episodes ago when I had one and got rid of it. But I don't think it was worth keeping that all the way till here. Since we're safe spotting anyway, the tier of our bow doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is like bringing enough arrows to kill him. So that's the first 25% of his health done. We've safe spotted him nicely. So I think we have to pre-range. We have to tank one of his hits and drag him back a bit through this tunnel and do basically the same thing we just did. Wait, oh, have they ruined it? Hey, we nailed it. We got the tile. Awesome, okay. It does still work. It's just really janky. It didn't work the first law. So that's it. He's now on phase 3. So what I'm going to do is once again put a pause on. We're going to have to leave anyway for supplies because we've got nothing left. And we'll give it an attempt without the crystal bow. If we can possibly do it without it, then we don't need to go do an additional quest before beating this guy. That would be really good. Hey, we're back, and do we have to do all 3 phases of this at once? I guess we do. I nearly got rid of the longbow and the arrows. I just thought I'll bring it just to try phase 3, but luckily I actually didn't get rid of those because, yeah, we need to do the first 2 phases again. But we are going to stick with the crossbow. I'm going to try and just do, like, the quote-unquote intended way to do phase 3, where we just stand like 2 tiles away from him so he can't melee us, pray mage, and then every time he pulls us in, just run away again 1 tile, so we only have to deal with his mage attack. It's just going to be a DPS race versus our food, basically. Crossbow on rapid, prayers on, we're going for it. Wish me luck, everyone. And when you get pulled in, auto-retaliate should do a hit, which means you're free to just focus on running. So it is really just preying on the DPS. Come on, hit more than 5s, dude. A ranging pot would help, or we could go train more range somewhere. Oh my good god, we're dead. I didn't run quick enough, we're dead. Fuck, dude. That's okay, we've still got restores, and we know we can get back there relatively easily, so... Right guys, we're back. Phase 3 once again. This time I've brought a recoil. Figured that's maybe better than a Ring of Wealth here, so I'm going to do the exact same again. Protect mage, eagle eye, shoot the guy, he's going to drag us in. And again, just hope for RNG. I do think the recoil is a good idea. The issue is, it's not actually a full recoil, it's got 34 damage instead of 40. Because of the way recoils work, I guess the last time I used a recoil I used 6 damage and didn't break it afterwards or something. Even though we don't have any recoils in our bank or on our character anywhere, and we just made a brand new one from scratch, it doesn't have full charges. So there's a juicy hit, there's a 2. The issue with this is the safe spot kind of messed up a bit on phase 2, so I did have to eat 3 food, which is really bad. That can be the difference between winning or losing this whole thing. Oh, there's a 20, that's good, that's good. He's still got 90 health left, even though his health bar is tiny, it's still 90. It's not even like we're in budget range gear, like this is really good stuff. He's got 10 HP, okay? If he... That 7 didn't recoil anything? I guess the recoil's finished, yeah. We just need a real hit. Dude, it's over! Monkey Madness 2 on the account. Let's go. That's so big. Oh, this quest took so long. So we talk to the king, and we tell him that we've saved the known world from Gloff and his evil demon experiments. Oh man, I'm so happy to have that one done. That's a Grandmaster quest on the account. 4 quest points for that one, as well as swathes of experience. Access to the crash site caverns, we can go back and fight demonic gorillas later. You can do them on Black Demon Slayer tasks, you can get Zenite jewellery from them. They actually drop D-skims as well. Speaking of D-skims, we can now reclaim our Grigris from an NPC in the Grand Tree. And we can also speak to and be friends with all the monkeys on Apatol without having any Grigris or the amulet equipped. So we can go to Apatol, use all the shops like the D-Skims shop anytime we want by teleporting through our house portal to get there. We also get a glider over to Apatol. We also get the Royal Seed Pod, but it is kind of trash. It's an inventory space. It's just a telly to get here, which we can do with a glider anyway. And we have to come back here to buy them, so they're kind of worthless for the account. We can talk to Duke and claim some more XP, so we'll go do that now while we remember. And as you can see, there's now a new option on the teleport glider interface. We can get straight to Apatol. We can also now go back to Kruk'ed's dungeon, like I said. We can go do the hunter method. We can hunt monkeys for 1k XP each. We can also burst and barrage the monkeys down there for crazy good combat XP. We can also now get the monkey backpack and do the agility course here to upgrade that if we ever want to. It's a bit of a joke item, but it's kind of cool. And it also adds dragon javelin heads to a lot of dragons around the game. So killing dragons is now more GP an hour just passively for doing this quest. So many good things. And Duke has replaced Kruk'ed, so we can go speak to him and claim our XP. Sadly, we can't actually put this in prayer. Well, I'll put them both into attack, I guess. It'll just get us close to a level. So you get 100k combat XP, and that'll put us very close to 79 attack. So that's Monkey Madness 2 on the account completed. One of our big Grandmaster roadblock quests out the way. Really, really good. I mean, technically, we could go kill demonic gorillas now, because we still have this task that we picked up to do the quest with. But yeah, I did have to sell our D-skim to get one more space for food for the quest. I'm glad I did, because we needed it. Here's the stats as they currently stand. Still 1714 total. Of course, that was 4 quest points, so we're now at 265 out of 290. So 25 quest points left. So that's Monkey Madness 2 complete. Really unsuspected, actually. Didn't expect to go do that quest for quite a while, but thanks to that clue scroll, we went and did it, and we were successful. So that's a Grandmaster quest down on the account. Really exciting. So what I'm going to do next is go do Roving Elves. The only reason we haven't done it so far is I was holding off on it because it does award a crystal bow, and I thought we'd maybe use that to do the Gloth fight here in Monkey Madness 2. But now Monkey Madness 2 is complete. There's nothing stopping us from starting Roving Elves. We technically already picked up the quest, so I just got the items together, went back and reclaimed the pebble thing from the tree gnome village, and also just grabbed some recoils, because you do need to go inside the same cave you go inside during waterfall quests during this one, and you need to actually fight a moss giant with no weapons or armor, which is why we bring potions, food, and some recoils, just to make that quicker, because we are going to have all our items on the floor outside, and after a minute they'll become visible to other players, so we want the moss giant to die as quick as possible. So let's run up to this guy real quick. Got our recoils. Yeah, we just need to get a seed off this guy. So if we can kill him in 2 minutes, get back outside before anyone comes by and grabs our cash stack and our d'hide top and all our important items, then that's great. Thank goodness for recoils for things like this. I do need to remember that once we've done this, if we don't go through the entire recoil, I need to destroy it before we next do something else that needs a recoil. Otherwise we'll have another Gloth situation where it only has 34 charges, not the full 40. Kick in. Grab the items, go spawn here. Alright, leave. So we just secure the Slayer Helm and the Dragon Defender first, because those are the most important. The rest of the stuff's just gravy. Even the armor d'hide top's not that important if we lost it. Cool, so that's that bit done. That's really the only difficult part of the quest. All we need to do now is head back over to the Elven Lands, find the Roving Elves again, speak to them now we have the seed, and they'll tell us to go to the Waterfall dungeon once again, plant the seed inside, and then I think just go back to the Roving Elves one more time and it's quest complete. Then what we'll do at the end of the quest is we'll select the Crystal Bow, because you can actually pick a reward. You can pick either a Crystal Bow or a Crystal Shield, but if we take the Crystal Bow, then we're able to use that for a diary task where we have to kill an elf with a Crystal Bow. If we don't select it as the quest reward, then we have to pay 900k for one, which as you can see we can't possibly afford. So here we go, now we've charged the seed. So what we need to do is go plant this in the Waterfall dungeon again, from Waterfall quest. And instead of doing like a strange puzzle where we put runes and stuff on these pillars to get our early 40 strength or whatever it is, this time we just come inside and we just plant this seed in here. Then literally all we have to do now is just go back to Tiranen with this weird tree planted in here and tell them that we've done it. So please give me the bow, thank you very much. If you ever need a replacement, you can come back to me and buy one for 900,000 coins. I think I'll pass on that dude, but thanks a lot. So that's Roving Elves out the way. So if you press I'm ready now, it should start Morning's End 1 straight away. And that actually gives us a quick fast travel over to Lletya, which is really cool. Yeah, here we are, we've got Lletya unlocked. Real quick while we are here, we'll just do our diary task to kill an elf with a crystal bow. Fairly sure you only need to do the last hit with the bow, so there we go. Yep, there's a hard western diary task, lovely. So with Roving Elves and Lletya unlocked, I went to do a little bit of busy work, a whole bunch of different skills really. One of the things I needed to train was thieving, because it was only 66, which is the bare minimum to thieve from the sepulchre chests. I actually needed to get it above our herb lore level, and they were the same level currently. I also needed to get our thieving to around 75 for a number of different hard diary tasks, but I did decide to just get 72, as that's the level you need for the Ardy tasks specifically. I decided that we'd just go to Sorceress's Garden and grab some squirk juice for +3 thieving boosts. They're quite easy to obtain, and then we'd just use those for the other 2 diary tasks that required 75 thieving. On the way round, I got 73 farming from a tree run. Also managed to pull a palm tree seed from a birdhouse run, which is really useful because we just unlocked Lletya, and there is actually a western hard task to plant a palm tree in the Lletya spot and have it fully grow. So I made sure to keep teleporting back and checking on this throughout its life cycle just to make sure we got that western task, because it is a painful one to do if you don't actually have access to a palm seed already. Sorceress's Garden is interesting. The plugin is next to no help. There's some plugin apparently where you can sort of mess with the patrol paths of these enemies on purpose, so you can set it up so you can get to the middle in a single click to make this nice and brainless. Also, surprisingly, I got crashed by people twice on 2 different worlds while going for these fruits. People just run in and they fail the course, and that obviously offsets the patrol paths of everyone and kind of ruins the one-click method anyway. Even with all the trouble, it still probably took only less than 10 minutes to get both our +3 boosts. Went and did both those thieving tasks I was talking about. Actually managed to do them both within the same minute, so the second juice was safe. I just turned that in for 3k thieving XP at Osman, just so it didn't go to waste. Speaking of diaries, I realised we could now fully complete the Fremzoned hard diary. We actually had all the requirements, so I just really quickly went and cast Waterbirth Telly on the Luna spellbook, and also went and did some Hunter over near the DKS Fremzoned area. We had to do a teasing stick task and stuff like that. Then I also actually needed to nip back to Miscellanea and do some raking content to get our approval to 100%. Turns out I never actually did this. I only raked up to 80% and gave up. But now, since it's been so long since we did Throne of Miscellanea, our favour's fallen back down to 25%. So it was a lot of raking and woodcutting to get this to 100. But it's definitely worth it because that means we can complete Fremzoned hard. Fremmy Hard's pretty good. You get the 15k lamp as usual. You can add Waterbirth Island to the Enchanted Lyre tellies, which is okay, but we have it in our house. And also Avian Seas in God Wars drop noted Addy bars going forward, which could be useful down the line. We also get the shortcut up to the herb patch on the Troll Stronghold roof with 73 agility. And then later after the My Arm quest, we can make a portal in our house with this diary as well. You get some Luna spells that we'll probably never use. And you still only get the 1 telly on the Sea Boots 3. It's exactly the same as the Sea Boots 1. They only get upgraded at the elite level up to unlimited tellies to Relica. So since we're in the mood to do some hard diaries, I went to finally go and complete the Karamja hard. We've only had a single task left for quite some time now, which is get halfway through the fight caves and kill a single major. So I got to wave 31, nothing of note in the first 30 waves, they're kind of brainless. I just killed the thing. I did try and get as far as possible after killing him with the supplies that I could bring in, but I just didn't have enough stuff. So I couldn't complete a fight cave this time, but we certainly will do one in future, probably after Quest Cape. No real point, honestly, without ranging pots and stuff, so just got the last task for Karamja Hard and then went and turned that in. Obviously, the Karamja Hard gives you less XP than the other hard diaries because it's a bit weird, but it does give you some really good gloves with unlimited tellies to Shiloh Village, so we can get to a downstairs portion of the gem mine and mine more gems if we ever need to do some gem mining, and we can also get quite close to Doradel if we ever go back to Slayer. It'll be really, really good for picking up new tasks at the best Slayer Master in the game. So with Karamja Hard complete, I actually wanted to go and complete as many other diary tasks as I physically could at the minute, just to shave down our last few hard diaries to as few tasks as possible. We weren't currently able to fully complete the desert or the western hard, but I did want to get all the tasks done that we actually could, just so the diary had as few remaining objectives as possible. So to start with for western, I went to put a Isafdar painting in our house, which basically is just a painting you can buy from Falador once you've completed Roving Elves. You just need to put this up in your quest hall, which is the same room where we have our mounted glory, so I didn't need to make a new room for this, just put a nice little painting in our house for a task, and also had to go mine an Addy ore, which only requires 70 mining, so just mined a single Addy ore in Tiranan, and that was just some western stuff out of the way. Went to do the same for the desert diary, completed a lap of the Polnavich agility course, killed the dust devil underneath Polnavich, and then went to Narda to complete 2 different tasks. We lit some logs and we did a little bit of smithing in Narda, and then we also did a single blackjack task in Polnavich, as well as casting Humidify out in the desert thanks to access to the Luna spellbook, and finally I killed a Locust Rider with the Keris dagger from Contact that I paid to reclaim. So with those diary tasks, guys, I'm going to call this episode here complete. Really appreciate you tuning in, as ever. Just a quick recap here at the end what we got done. We, of course, went and completed Fremzoned Exiles just because we had an elite clue step to do so. And then we also went and completed Monkey Madness 2 because we had a hard clue step to do so. Crazy how these things work out. Then also at the end there, we completed Roving Elves as well. Knocked out a couple of diaries in this one, Fremzoned Hard and Karamja Hard. Some really nice rewards from both of those. Like I say, we have a shortcut to the Trollheim herb patch. We have teleports to Doradel, all that stuff. Didn't get too much in the way of total level during this episode, just 8 levels, 6 in our thieving and then 1 in our miscellaneous farming and herblore levels. Obviously we trained up to do a bunch of diary tasks. We completed most of the desert and western hard diaries. We're just missing a Calphite Queen and a Zulrah kill, so hopefully we'll go back and be able to do those soon when we have some better equipment. We managed to knock out our first ever elite clue on the account, and we also unlocked the town of Lletya for a new fruit tree patch and the ability to kill the elves there for the 3 charge teleport crystals so we can teleport back. Should be nice for farming runs going forward if we run out of fruit tree patches, which sometimes we do. With the quest completed today, we have access to Basilisk Knights and eventually the Basilisk Jaw so we can make the upgraded Neat's Helm. We also have access to Demonic Gorillas, so if we ever get our crafting up to like 98 or whatever the crazy level is you need, we can maybe go kill those, grab a Zenite, make a Torture, maybe an Anguish, maybe a Tormented Bracelet, something like that. In a nice position here to go forward with the Elf quest now we've completed Roving Elves. Just want to probably go do the Vampire quests first, do Taste of Hope and Sins of the Father, unlock Sepulchre, so we can train our agility up a little bit more before we tackle the maze in Morning's End 2. So that's something of a plan for the account going forward, as well as obviously killing Zulrah and KQ when we can, so we can get 2 15k lamps to push our herblore ever closer to 70 and have the final level in terms of Questscape for all our skills on the account. If you enjoyed this one, please consider dropping a like. If you want to leave any feedback or comments, I do read them all, so just drop it in a comment below. And obviously, if you want to sub to see next week's episode, then you can do that as well. Regardless, guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.